The advantage to this too, though, is the next level, which is multiple implant sites. You're doing 2 side by side or otherwise. Doing the thermoplast, the CEREC one, very difficult to do. Fully edentulous. Otherwise, yeah, you're able to do it with this. Whereas CEREC Guide 1, it's very difficult.
So with the workflow, you design the crown to fit on the gums. You drew the circle. Right. That's your fake margin.
You got it.
You then go to the
Galileos.
Mm-hmm. You put the crown in, or it matches up the CEREC scan with the Galileos.
You got it. Marries the two. Yeah.
Now your crown is as designed on this.
In the space.
And then you already told it what kind of implant and what
length of
implant you're going to put in.
You got it.
And it goes.
And
then you got to.
Yeah, you just tweak it a little bit, bury it a little bit, do your little thing.
Okay, now. And then you probably design the guide just like we've done crowns.
A little bit different. When you go to CEREC Guide 2, yes, that would be the next step. If you're doing CCAT, you just hit blank and they do all that work. You just hit send. If you're doing a CCAT, an optical guide, they do all that.
But in CEREC Guide 2, you kind of design
you got it.
And then you hit
mill. Yeah. Well, you'll export it.
Take it out of there, bring it back to your milling chamber.
Click import.
5 minutes later.
You got that. Cut off the little pieces. You're done. Yeah. What's a little bit louder on that?
CCAT. The last surgery that I actually saw the invoice for was a two unit surgery, and that guide from CCAT was $362.
Yeah.
And then what I was just
I think it's $340 for a single right now.
And then what I was telling Dr. Cook is, now we've also introduced what we call Guide X, or digital guide, which allows you to send that file to CCAT, where they check it and make sure it's sound, that it's accurate, that there's nothing missing, that the position is correct.
Get their money.
Yeah, they collect a little bit of money, $80. They'll shoot that back over to a lab that has the ability to mill or print a guide.
That's in Burbank.
They'll fabricate in their print run, and then they'll drop it in the mail to you the following day. So you're looking at about a 48-hour turnaround for that, and it's produced domestically, and your cost on that's about $200.
Yeah, $220 I think is what it was.
Yeah, where this CCAT guide for single units. Again, remember, 80% of the implants that you're going to be doing and that are done are typically single unit. That guide is $56.
This thing,
yeah,
cost of that block.
Yeah.
And what's the cost on CEREC 1? Just the block.
But you can
it's 80 for two.
Yeah, you get 80 for two, so it's $40.
$40
for one.
But then you have a little bit of model work, thermoplast, a little bit extra work. Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty neat stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'm good.
Good. So that's the workflow. The engage your mind before engaging your weapon. Okay, this kind of goes through the mentality. This is some of the tactical stuff that we've done in the past. Anybody know what that is?
50 cal.
That's a 50 cal. That's a 50 cal sniper. We have it with a silencer, suppression unit.
Did you say 50 cal?
He did. Yeah. Dr. Tan's got it. Right. So now here's the trick question. Here's the trick question. What size is that? Anybody? Any aficionados? Huh?
30-06.
No.
33.2.
Think bigger. Anybody familiar with the 338 Lapua? 338 Lapua. So that's the difference. This is a 338 Lapua. It's determined now to be one of the most accurate long-range tactical sniper rounds out there. It will reach out 2,000 yards on a human target, which is over a mile, accurately. Okay. 50 cal. It takes out a tank at a mile, let alone human targets. I do. A couple of them.
Jason wants one. Yeah. Bad.
Yeah.
Why do you guys want these?
Well, it's because, I don't know, because...
That's what he said. He's like, I don't know. I just want it.
Because we can. Why? We can. It's the reason we're having it. Now, the guys that we take with it, we do suppression units. So this is fully suppressed. We have a suppression can that's about that long, so you don't have to use ear protection. So we come out, shoot. This is 308, for those that are looking at 308, 223, and a 22. Okay, and I bring that out just for fun to look at, PA, bite wing, pano, Scan. What are volumetrically? What are you really looking at? Engage your mind. What type of implant am I going to use? I'm looking at a space. You know, now Nobel Active has a 3.0, which is phenomenal for the lower anteriors instead of minis. Being able to have a platform at 3.0 is phenomenal. I'm not sure if Implant Direct has that, but I know that. Is my Implant Direct guy still here?
Charles? Hey, Charles, do you have a 3.0 platform?
On the Active? On the interactive, is it 3.0? Do you have a 3.0?
That's the narrow and a regular. So the narrow is going to be the
3.5?
not 3.5.
Is it 3.2?
3.4, I believe.
3.4, which is 3.5. Don't let them. It's that whole dynamic. Yeah. Those big old ones. Yeah. So now, the 5.5 with the pica abutments that actually heal the tissue, and so again, engage your mind. What are we looking to do? And that's the whole thought is you know, from small to large. You're using it for a specific position. You're the one taking the shot, precisionally figuring out what and where it needs to place. Engage that first, and then we work backwards from there.
3.0 and 3.4.
3.0, so they have the 3.0, which you don't have Sirona support. I'm going to tell you that right now. You don't have a TI base. That's going to have to be a custom, you know, implant level impression sent out. But for what we're using it for, okay, you know, that's fine to use. But having a 3.5 where you can do a TI base with it. Real quick, we're going to go through. These are the different. So here's the different guides I was going to try to get to. Here's a classic edentulous, has the pinholes, goes through. The classic guide, the OptiGlide, and this is the Cert Guide one. You know, kind of what we saw right there. We're going to go through. All right, so this is the objective, to place implants, right? How does that look?
Good.
What do you guys think? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one we placed Monday. Okay, using a Cert Guide. I thought it was awesome too, until I take a scan. You take a scan, and this is a safe place. I'm bringing that back to the safe place. Okay, let's talk about failures and what happens and doesn't really happen. No, the real life. I look at it as it's going in. I place the guide. I do a little partial flap. I'm looking at it going, I got really thin buccal bone here. I'm looking at it. I take a quick scan. If you look here, we've got a real big buccal defect. If you look here on that mesial facial part of the implant, I got about 2 millimeters of threads exposed. You know, on the back side of it, if you look at this x-ray, it's perfect. I mean, the lingual plate is up high, interproxal. It's just got one little defect. Okay, I go back and look at my pre-op treatments of where I designed it to go. I'm right there. You know, the screw path is going right through the middle of the crown where I want it to go, so I can screw it on. It's just this defect, a little bit of a bony defect that sits out here, whether the implant slid around a little bit on insertion. Again, that's where that active versus the implant version. You know, if you've got a cutting edge and you're placing it freehand because it's not a fully guided case, could it move a little bit? Possibly. The osteotomy is there, but it could still translate just a little bit, whereas the implant directs aren't going to do that. Okay, where the implant, the Nobel Actives will. But by seeing that, knowing that, taking the scan, I know how to treat it.
Did you do the scan right after surgery?
Right after surgery. Yeah, I did the surgery. I'm looking at it in the mouth. I'm like, girls, get a scan. And they're like going, okay, now it just got complicated, right?
So if that happens, are you going to place more bone at that?
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. So the scan, I look at it and go, yeah, I'm confirming what I'm seeing in the mouth. I've already got a partial flap. I expose a little bit more, put a bone, suture it up. And in this case, I decided to.
Cover that with
I just put a flat and I covered it with tissue. I didn't put a healing. I didn't do a healing screw. I just did a cap. No membranes.
Okay.
No, just we do a modified flap. So I leave the interdental papilla, pull it off, extend it a little bit, place the bone around that graft. He had good bleeding in the site, so I'm anticipating we have good intervention. Close it up and just leave a healing cap. So I pack bone all the way around it. I'd rather take bone off in the future than not quite get bone on there. And I've had these where the bone grows right over the top of these active implants.
Yeah,
they're phenomenal when they're covered. So, but again, you can't see what you can't see. You know, the x-ray initially looked phenomenal. Normally that's the one that Dr. Kelly would see 5 years from now going, well, there's no buccal plate, you've got a real big dehiscence, it's all infected. The time to treat that's now rather than 5 years from now. Go ahead.
You let it heal longer then because you went back in there and placed one?
No, I still torqued it like 70. Oh yeah, the torque value is incredible on these actives and the implant directs. Matter of fact, they recommend that we back them off just a touch, let it rest, re-engage it and get that torque value down to 50, 55 rather than up at the 70 value, just for that crestal bone height issue. Okay, so to answer that, yeah, no, it depends on the torque value. If I'm torquing at 20, 25, I'm going 6 months. If I'm over that, I'm doing 4 months. If I go in at 4 months and it moves, I close it back up and give them another 4 months, rather than trying to mess around with it.